Hey everybody, how's it going? How are
Hey
you?
there, how's your steak?
Happy Friday for those of you that are tuning in.
Yes.
This is Crime Talk with Steph. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Mm-mm.
I'm Steph, and that beautiful goddess over there is Neem. Hey,
No,
Neem.
thank you, Steph. But I don't know, I feel a little relaxed. Like I said, I have a little, I see, I really don't drink. Like I'm pretty sure everybody thinks I do from my stories from Instagram. But on, I usually like, I haven't opened a bottle of wine like in ages. I don't like to at home because it's only me that has a glass, or Tony and I will share, and then it goes to waste because I have this thing where I don't like to drink wine the next day.
Thank you. No, oh, the next day. Okay, no. Like I
Unless I
like
have an aerator or whatever, and I
so
don't.
is that what makes it not taste like caca after it's
Yeah,
been sitting? Okay, I need to get that because
yeah.
I now feel like I can only have red wine in the house that has the twist off cap.
Yeah, see, and that's and I don't know, I guess I've become like a wine snob, and I only have certain ones I like. So,
Yeah.
and those are, I mean, they're not cheap either, so I
No.
don't want to waste it, you know? So I want to invest in the one where you go through the cork and
Okay.
you literally could pour the wine from the cork and the bottle can last you for days. That
Okay. Let me know how that
that's
works.
to me that's a good investment, right? So, but today it's just been a long day. Tony had a hell of a long day. So I was like, let's open some wine. But I'm like, I literally was like, we need to finish this.
I mean, you
So
you
I'm
have to
like,
commit when you have wine. But wait, do you have an aerator though? Does it not work?
no, I used to,
Mm.
but it broke, it fell. And so and it wasn't like an expensive one. It was more just like, like
Okay.
like mid-level price range, right? But the other one I think is like between two and 300.
I
Uh-huh. But literally it takes,
okay.
because I guess the cork like seals itself like once you poke a hole in it, and it's literally like almost like a little needle
Oh,
size.
well, how does the liquid come out?
So it goes through the needle. So
Does it take a
literally,
long time to get a glass of wine?
not really, because it's like the gauge is a little bit bigger, but once you take the needle out of the cork kind of it seals again. So you're not losing any air.
Got it.
So it's an investment, but it's actually worth it because, sometimes you just want a glass, but you can't. So, but today I was like, okay, so I'm having the whole bottle.
Yeah, I like
It
on
wasn't just me. My mom had some and then Tony, but,
was
I'm
it
like,
red or
okay,
white?
red.
Oh, love a good Pinot Noir. But like I have to really like sit down and commit because I know me. I know I won't go back and it's a waste. So yeah, think about all
Yeah,
the bottles
exactly.
that you waste. It adds up to the cost of that thing that you're talking about.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It's on my list. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I should buy it. And then I just like, oh, I'll get it next time.
Right,
But
right.
because like I said, I haven't really been drinking wine either, like at all. So, but today's feeling like a Friday, even though today technically is Friday on the podcast.
It is.
So,
It is.
hey, cheers to Friday, people.
Happy Friday, everybody.
How are you though?
Yeah, I'm good. I can't believe that this week is over. It was like, as you know, it was a busy one. Me and Angel had our performance night last night. It was amazing, and it was my first time doing two
Yes,
dances. How
you
could I
were
pass up Janet
fuego,
Jackson?
fuego on
Oh
fire.
my God, it was so much fun. I was like the liberating feeling that I had when I ripped open my shirt, like that part,
Oh,
it
I'm
felt
sure.
so good.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like,
I was sitting there and I knew that was going to happen, so I'm like waiting for it. And it was seamless.
oh, thank you. I was really nervous, but it felt good. And like Angel,
Ugh.
did you hear her screams?
Yes, it was. So was she the one recording?
Yes.
I love it.
And like I made sure to like every time point to her when at the end of the song, it's like you and me. And then I threw my
Mhm.
hat at her. Like,
Stop it. You
yeah,
guys
it
are too
was
cute.
it was amazing. It was a great night. It was a very active like week, which is the norm for me, but it was like the worry of trying to remember like the choreography because it was very intricate, but it
Yeah.
was so much fun. I'm happy. I'm gonna
Mm.
have a good ass Friday. That's all. I don't have any plans tomorrow. Praise Jesus.
Oh,
Okay.
good. Yes, that's
But
a high intensity kind of week,
yes, so we're gonna
you
do
know?
happy hour at home. And speaking of which, we have so many bottles at the house right now. So we always have a stocked bar. We're not
Hmm.
alcoholics by any means, and we're not trying to knock
Hmm.
people who like to have a lot of alcohol, but we just
Right.
always are gifted delicious
Hmm.
bottles of our favorite alcohol because everyone knows that we like wine or Crown Royal,
Hmm.
whatever. So when
Right.
we had Angel's birthday party here, one of my amazing students knows that we love Mum's Napa, the pink
Hmm. Oh, so
bubbles.
good. Yes.
Brought 4 bottles and they're sitting
Dang. Oh, shoot.
upstairs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was making margaritas. So
Hmm.
everyone was like, we want margaritas. So the tequila flew, but those
Hmm.
bottles, I was like, oh yeah, no one's touched them. Let's keep it that way.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, no, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with having a fully stocked bar.
I love it.
I think that's the benefit of having like a party and when people bring alcohol.
Yes.
Like usually and then because like if I have like a get together, I like to have like a drink, like a a drink that I'm serving, like you said, margarita.
Cocktail.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because I don't want to like have just because you know what happens is the host ends up making all the drinks and they don't enjoy anything. And it takes a while sometimes to knock out some of these drinks,
Oh,
you
yes.
know?
Yes.
So it's beneficial to have like a signature drink for the night.
Yes.
And then people bring their own, like they'll bring
Oh,
wine, they'll bring stuff, and then you could just store it.
I love it. Like we have no room in our bar, our
Mhm.
little bar that we
Yeah,
have.
same
Like it's all
here.
on the floor, crowded, like next to it. And like,
Yeah, no, for real. That's how ours is actually, because I was telling Tony, he was like, we have to clean that. I can't even see the counter.
yeah, it's like that over here too. And we have a locker down here,
Mm-hmm.
um, with more bottles so we can take to dinners and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yay, okay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh,
everyone was
I
so
love
amazing.
it.
Angel got a lot of bottles gifted to her too. So, and
Oh,
beautiful
amazing.
bottles. I mean, our friends really hooked her up. So hooked
Aw.
us up. But yeah, but I know you had a crazy week. Like how
I
are you?
did.
Are you
I'm
okay?
okay. I am. And my teeth feel stained from the wine. Sorry. I
They
keep
don't
looking,
look
I'm like,
stained.
I
No.
feel it. I feel like I'm missing a tooth. But anyways, it was busy. It was just because I worked all week and which is fine, but it's just a lot of driving and it was warm out. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I know it was warm when I had gone to the city that one day, but over here it was killer. It was like, I mean, not compared to how it could be, but we're getting there. We're inching our way into summer, and it's like, whew, I am so excited.
I know you
But
are.
but the heat, it even at night, I feel a difference in the temperature of the house.
Yeah.
So my fan's full blast, and I'm just like, whew, man, nothing like getting into bed when the fan is just blowing
Oh,
on you.
and you get into crisp sheets that have
Yes.
been laundered and placed on the bed. Like it's top
Fantastic.
tier. It feels so good. Oh my God.
It does. It does. It feels so good. I mean, we don't have anything planned this weekend, I don't think. Tony's busy with some things with work and stuff, but for the most part, like, it'll be nice to kind of just wind down because next week is Easter and then we have a couple
Yeah,
other things planned and it's just, yeah, busy, busy, busy. So it's been a busy week,
definitely.
but it's going to be good just going right into a nice, relaxing weekend.
Yeah, we I'm gonna cherish tomorrow because we have a busy weekend. Like we have friends from out of town we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
chill with on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going line dancing as I was telling you on Sunday night.
Amazing.
I mean, should my name be Peggy Sue? I don't know. Like should I have tight curls on underneath my pink cowboy hat? I don't know.
Right? Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my God, that's going to be amazing. I've always wanted to go line dancing. There's a bar over here that does line dancing. And
Fun.
I had gone out last couple weeks ago for a friend's birthday and they were like, "Oh, let's head over to whatever the name of it is." And I was like, "Oh," and they're like, "Yeah, they do line dancing." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." I was so tired and I had a curfew. Tony was like, "You need to be home by," because it's kind of like I don't want to say it's sketchy, but nowadays it's just being out late by myself. Even though I'm with girls,
Yeah.
still I don't know the area and I don't know like that bar. So, um, I was like, next time, because that would be fun. There's another place though called the Saddleback. Is that what it's called? Or the Saddle? I think it's called the Saddleback, but
Where?
it's in either Union City or Newark or Fremont. But it's like really popular line dancing place, and it's
Nice.
supposed to be like so much fun. I would love to go. We should go.
You let
Let's
me
see how
know.
you do on Sunday if you like it.
I'm really hoping I'll take to it because I think it'll be
Mhm.
fun, mix it up, like dance
Yeah,
wise.
I
So we're gonna take
agree.
the lesson and
Hmm.
then we're gonna do do and away we go. Like I wish I would have ordered a pink. I gotta look for my handkerchief. I would have put it around my neck.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. It's like son-in-law
Oh
when they
my
went
God.
to
Oh my God.
I don't know if you follow Kasha Campbell. She's a dancer on Instagram, and she does not like country at all, but her
Oh
friend
shit.
took her to a country bar, and she had the funnest time of her life, and she can't stand country.
That's
It was like
hilarious.
it was amazing, and I was like, yes, oh my gosh, no, I think you're gonna have a blast, and you're gonna keep wanting to do it.
Yay. Okay,
Hmm.
let's do
Yeah,
this.
for real.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was going to ask you something, but now I can't remember. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. The parents of what's her name got convicted, right?
Yep, that's what I
They
was
were
going to talk about
sentenced
next.
to, yeah,
40
they were,
years each and
that
but
is
20
crazy.
suspended and yeah, parents of Lacey Fletcher.
Hmm.
And I woke up to that and I was like, "Oh my God." And they were crying in court. They were
Oh, please.
crying. They were like, "We couldn't have done anything. We did everything that we could." Okay, you let her rot?
Yeah,
No.
exactly. Give me a break.
Oh my
I'm sick
God.
of her.
They're horrible. And I hope that justice is served behind bars. It's all I have to
Hmm.
say. Like, take it out on them, whatever
Hmm.
needs to be done, because they're
Yeah.
horrible people. I mean, ugh, I just can't. Like, it's such crap. She didn't want help. Okay, call somebody.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm
So,
sorry if you can't handle, like, if you have special needs children, regardless, right? Kids that don't have special needs or not, but especially when you have special needs, a special needs child, like, come on. Like, if
yeah,
you don't have the capacity to take care of them, get help. Like, don't just, I don't know. Like, I wonder, like, how do you do that? How do you allow your child to just pretty much just like die in front of your eyes
I
and
don't
not
know.
even have a care in the world?
And just watch
You
her
know?
melt into furniture
Yeah.
and just go about your day.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
can't even
Like nothing.
imagine. Like,
And
no.
anybody, all those people that were saying that they were innocent and
Oh,
backing them up and all this shit, they're going to hell too.
yep, they sure are.
There's a special place in hell for them
Yep, the
because
seat
I'm
is
sorry, I
warm.
don't care. Yeah, I don't see how you can just like play that off or like pretend like or how you could just say, "Oh, I had nothing to do with it."
Yeah,
You didn't see that
no.
she was like in agony?
Oh my God. Years. The thing is, it was years.
What year, again, remind me, what year did this happen? Was it like 2000 and
8 or something like that. It was in the early 2000s. And then like it just but also like I think everyone around them too was to
yeah.
need to be blamed or held responsible because if you don't see her around, do
Hmm.
something.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand how people can, it goes along the same lines like with Kate Middleton. If we're having this much like wonder, about where she is, she's just, she's a royal. But
Yeah.
if your friends, like, they have a kid,
Yeah.
aren't you wondering, oh, come on.
I
I
know.
just,
It's absolutely terrible. So
yeah,
I'm
the worst of the
I'm
worst.
I wish they would have gotten the death penalty, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, completely. Yeah. I feel like the way you kill your victim is the way you should die.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's let you suffer the way your victim suffered. If we know point blank that they did it, like there is all evidence, or someone has literally confessed, then you're dying the same way your victim did. I don't care. I don't see how that's not inhumane. What did they do to that innocent person?
Agreed, 1,000%.
You
That's
know?
the way it should be.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You need to feel the pain that your victim felt.
Yeah.
I don't understand like defending these type of people. It's one thing if there's doubt, we don't know. There's a lot of different things, that can maybe possibly be like, we don't know. There's doubt, right? But when there's no doubt and there's evidence and there's a confession, point blank, this is what's happening to you.
Yeah, I agree. It's ugh.
Especially when it's done to a kid. I can't. I have no remorse
Nope,
whatsoever.
neither do
That
I.
this kind of shit makes me want to be a freaking vigilante.
Yeah, I know. Like, you're not supposed to take the law into your own hands and all that stuff, but in this case, let the streets handle it.
Yeah, I'll be Dog the Bounty Hunter. No problem. Okay. I'll take justice into my hands. Okay, I
Here,
have no
I'll be
problem.
right there next to you.
Right? I But what do you have in store for today?
Girl. Okay. So
Oh
today
yeah.
I wanted to talk to you guys about a case that involves jealousy,
Mm,
competitiveness,
mm,
extremely low self-esteem, and bullying. So, yes, we are talking teenagers today.
mm-hmm.
And this case in particular hails from Texas and took place in July of 2003. And it involves the deaths of four people by shooting. Let me start out by saying that you're going to feel sorry for the person that we're going to be talking about in a minute, but that's going to change really fast. Okay, so buckle up. And because we are talking about like a gruesome, murder scene and a horrible like way to murder somebody,
Mm-hmm.
listener discretion is strongly advised. Okay, so let's dive on in. So we're going to be talking about Christine Marie Paolilla, and I apologize if I'm butchering the name, but she was born in Long Island, New York on March 31st, 1986 to parents Lori and Charles, and she also had one older brother. So really sad. When she was about 2 years old, her father died in a work accident and left behind mom to raise their two kids on her own. And as I was researching this a little bit more about the death, I found out that he was also addicted to heroin. So I don't know if that was tied into like
Oh
what
boy.
happened in his work
Mm-hmm.
accident, but he was a drug addict. So
Mm-hmm.
this kid grew up in that environment. And after he died, the mom was like struggling. Okay. She was struggling with the loss of her husband and having to raise these two kids. So she also was using drugs to cope with the pain. And as a result, she loses custody of the two kids and they went to go live with their maternal grandparents. Yeah. And as if losing her dad in a freak accident wasn't enough. And then her mom, when Christina was around 5 years old, okay, we were in kindergarten when we were five,
Mm-hmm.
okay, she was
Yeah.
5. She was diagnosed with alopecia, which causes major hair loss from the head. So she lost hair from her head, her eyebrows, and her eyelashes.
Mm-hmm.
And so she started wearing wigs to cover the baldness, but it wasn't fooling anybody. And she was the target of horrible bullying. Her
Mm.
fellow classmates would literally come up from behind her and yank her wig off
Oh.
several times. This was not a like isolated incident. It would be like in the halls, like it was awful. Okay. And then she would
Damn.
also, yeah, she would also wear heavy makeup, to draw eyebrows and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
they would make fun of her there too, and they would call her a clown because of that.
And real
Um,
quick, what year was this?
this was in the event that we're going to talk
Oh,
about was July 2003.
okay.
But this was in the 80s when she was 5.
Okay.
So, and also on top of like the makeup and the wigs, she had to wear
Mm-hmm.
really, really thick glasses because her
Mm.
eyesight was really bad. So this
Damn.
added to the bullying. And
Shit.
so, needless to say, Christine struggled with self-confidence and self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Christine's mom eventually cleaned up her act and was able to get custody of her two kids again. And she had remarried. And once the whole family was reunited, they moved to Clear Lake City, Texas, for a fresh start. So by this time, Christine was already in high school. So she was enrolled at Clear Lake High. Given everything that this poor girl had already endured at such a young age, I can't even begin to imagine what she was feeling. But she actually, I mean, like, okay, put yourself in her place right now. She's like, oh my God, I'm gonna go to high school. I have to wear wigs. And she wasn't really good at makeup. So like that added to like them calling her clown.
Mhm.
Okay, so she's like, oh my God, how am I gonna like start in this high school? I have
Yeah.
nobody. The bullying's probably gonna be worse. Like, so she was feeling lots of dread and lots of anxiety. I would probably
Hell
beg to
yeah.
be homeschooled, but
Exactly.
she sucked it up and she went to school and she actually ended up making friends. So two of the high school's most popular students, Rachel Calorotis and Tiffany
Mhm.
Rowell, they took it upon themselves to befriend Christine and helped her get acclimated to the school. They introduced her to other friends. And then they also helped her with a makeover. And just think Cher and Dion when they took
Mhm.
Ty under their wing.
Mhm. Okay,
Very
yeah.
much like that.
Mhm.
They taught her about fashion. They helped her buy better wigs and taught her how to do her makeup the right way.
Mhm.
And her
See,
look,
that totally would have been us in high school.
yes, we would have taken her in. I
Yeah,
totally thought that
exactly.
too.
Mhm.
So her look as a result of all this, their help, it
Mhm.
changed dramatically. So
Oh,
much so
shit.
that in 2003, in her junior year, Christine was voted Miss Irresistible by her
What?
fellow classmates. You know how you
Stop
have
it
like these
right now.
contests or like in the
Yeah.
yearbook and shit? It was like that.
Wow.
So life sure changed for her for the better. So she had these
Mhm.
sweet besties who were the popular girls. Ergo, she was now popular. And she went from the bullied, shy girl with low self esteem to a full fledged popular girl herself. And she should have
Yeah.
been happy, right?
You would think.
Huh. Once Christine started feeling herself a little bit, others
Mm-mm.
took notice, and she caught the eye of 21-year-old Christopher Lee Snider. And actually, according to one of the articles that I found,
Sorry.
bless you. That was
Thank you.
adorable. And I think we all needed that. So according to one of the articles that I found, these two had met years prior when Christine was just in middle school, but they had fallen out of touch until they met again in 2003 at a party. So Christopher, he was no choir boy. Okay. And clearly he was not a fellow high school classmate because he was older. Okay. He
Mhm.
was bad news. He had a criminal record, which was very lengthy, and he was a known drug user. Christine didn't care, or I don't know, maybe the whole bad boy thing turned her on. We all went through that phase. Okay. But at any rate, like they became an item, which her mom and stepdad did not approve of. Like her mom was like interviewed and she said, I never liked him. There was something in his eyes. Okay. So there was
Okay.
something.
The
So
eyes don't lie.
they don't. So they were not a fan. And her two besties weren't either. They were like worried about her well being. And they also were concerned that he was a bad influence on Christine. And their worries did become a reality because Christine started to use drugs. According to Christine's mom, Lori, Christopher had a hold on her and was allegedly abusive towards her. Lori stated that she had learned that Christine had allegedly been raped by Christopher. Now, Christopher's parents and sister Brandy came forward and stated that Christine was the toxic one who would fly into jealous rages if he so much as looked at another girl. In
Dang.
fact, they claimed that jealousy was the main cause of their fights. They also claimed that after several of their fights, not just one, but several, she would straight up go to their home, sleep outside on their front lawn. I don't know if it was to monitor if he left or what, but in between like trying to go to sleep, she would try to get into the house by like shaking on the door, like
Hell
rattling the
no.
doorknob,
Uh-huh.
banging on the freaking windows, yelling that she was going to kill everybody. Like it was
Okay, she's
out of a
psycho.
movie. Yes. Okay. So, yeah. And on more than one occasion, she threatened to murder like him and his family.
Just real quick
Yeah.
question. Do you think that she was, and I know like you'll get more into deal, but do you think she was like this before? Or do
Yeah.
you think this got to her head with the whole makeover and popularity that she all of a sudden got?
Both. I think years of abuse
Mm-hmm.
is going to mess with you regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was bullied her whole life
Mm-hmm.
and isolated and feeling horrible about herself. And then these two beautiful, popular girls befriend her and she becomes popular as a result. So it's like a power switch, like the
Yeah.
switch like flips on. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it was too much at once. Like,
That's so crazy because I would think that she would be humble,
yeah,
you know?
there was a few fries missing from the Happy Meal for sure.
Right.
Or she was a few fries short of a Happy Meal. There it is.
That's a good
And,
one.
I do believe Christopher's family because of what's going to happen. And
Okay.
one other thing that Christopher's I don't know who, no, this was one of his family members said this. After a particularly nasty fight, Christine allegedly stopped screaming because they were screaming at each other. She looks at him with scary dead eyes and then licked his face from chin to forehead. Then she walks away spitting as she did so, like she spat as she walked. I don't know
What
what
the
that was,
hell?
but it scared the shit out of him. Okay. And
Yeah.
Christopher's family, they went on record and they were like, he had told them more than once that only two things in this world scared him: the police and his own girlfriend.
Oh my God. Wow.
So, yeah.
Hightail it out of there,
Anyways,
Christopher.
exactly, but he did not.
Okay.
Okay. So on July 18th, 2003, Christine and Christopher were, of course, together. And according to Christine, Christopher came up with an idea to rob her friends of drugs that allegedly Tiffany had in her house. Apparently, Tiffany's boyfriend was known to sell cocaine and ecstasy, but that's probably how they got this idea. So let's just keep in mind, though, for a quick minute, Tiffany and Rachel don't suspect any beef with their friend. I mean, maybe just the fact that she wasn't happy with them for not supporting her relationship with Christopher, but that's it. They don't think there's anything amiss. Okay,
Right.
just I want you to prepare, like, just have that in your head. Like, they're minding their own business. Their bestie is Christine. They have a lot of love for her.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that I don't know if it was Tiffany or Rachel, but one of them had a photo of Christine in their wallet. Like, okay, like this was a true friendship.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Christine and Christopher head over to 3706 Millbridge Drive in Clear Lake to supposedly rob Christine's best friends in the entire world. The people who were at the house on this day were Rachel, Tiffany, Tiffany's boyfriend Marcus, and Marcus's cousin Adalbert. Okay. So once Christine and Christopher were let inside the house, the pair started shooting up the place. It was absolute mayhem. And when they were finished, it appeared that everyone was deceased. So they left. I don't even think they took what they supposedly came for. They just left the house. Um, but as they were leaving, Christine, like they exited the house and they're walking, and then Christine was like, let's go back inside and make sure everyone's really dead. So
Wow.
they go back inside the house and they saw that Tiffany, Marcus, and Adalbert were dead, but Rachel was still alive and she was choking on her own blood. She was crawling on the ground, holding her cell phone, attempting to call 911 for help. And literally, like that image is so
Yeah.
sad and haunting. And what does Christine do? She took her gun out and she began to viciously beat her on the head until she died. And apparently, Rachel had looked up at her either during this or before and asked her former best friend, the girl that had taken her under her wing. Okay, she asks her, why are you doing this?
Right.
It's just
We
so
all want to
heartbreaking.
know.
We all want to know. So, after Christine and Christopher make sure that everyone was in fact dead, Christopher drives Christine to work so that she wouldn't be late for her shift. Yes.
Hmm.
She was employed at Walgreens at the makeup counter at this
Of
time, and God forbid
course.
she was late due to her involvement in the murder of her best friends. And she seemed to be cool as a cucumber because
Wow.
who would suspect her to be involved in the murder of her two best friends?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
they changed her life.
Yeah. So she goes to work. Bye.
Wow.
Later that same day, around 6 p.m., Tiffany's other bestie named Brittany was panic dialing her nonstop for 2 hours. So she had called Tiffany earlier that day around 3, and her boyfriend Marcus had actually answered her cell for her, letting her know that Tiffany was in the bathroom and to call back. At around 3:30, Brittany calls her friend again, but there was no answer, and Marcus didn't pick up the phone this time. So she was like, she felt something in her gut. She's like, something's wrong. I'm gonna
Hmm.
probably go check on her. So Brittany and her boyfriend made the plan to head over after an appointment that Brittany had at around 4. And, they go to the appointment, they grab some lunch, drive through, and they head over to Tiffany's. And when they get there, they notice that Marcus and Tiffany's cars are parked in the driveway. So she's like, what? Why aren't they answering the phone? So she gets out of the car and goes to ring the doorbell. No answer. She rings it again, nothing. She tried looking inside, couldn't see anything, couldn't hear any movement inside. Thank God for persistent besties, by the way, because she didn't give up. She wasn't like, oh, okay, maybe they're like banging or something. No, she didn't
Hmm.
do that. She was like, I'm getting in. So she's like slamming her, she's pounding on the door. She's like, what the? She's
Hmm.
yelling, whatever. And all that pounding caused the door to open because the door had been left unlocked. So
Oh.
she goes inside and she's calling out for Tiffany, no response. She's walking slowly. So she clearly feels something's going on and she can smell something weird in the air.
Hmm.
And we all know what that is. It's like the
Hmm.
scent of like gunfire. But
Right.
okay, so she's walking and she's like, something's weird. She takes a few steps, she goes into the living room, and that's where she's greeted with the most gruesome, bloody sight that one could ever see. And she certainly wasn't prepared for it. So she runs screaming from the house, hysterical, and she tells her boyfriend, call the police. And she's not even making sense. She's screaming. She's just like throwing herself on the ground, just crying, yelling. And her boyfriend's like, what the fuck? So he runs into the house and
Wow.
he sees what she saw and he runs back out, notices that a neighbor is outside on their cell phone. He's like, can you please call 911? There's an emergency. Like,
Hmm.
so the cops, they're notified, they show up and they begin their investigation. And as usual, with a lot of cases that we cover here, they were
Hmm.
stumped because who would have it out for these seemingly normal teens with no known enemies? And but one thing that was like helpful, at least later on, they had two eyewitnesses, the neighbors next door to Tiffany's house, and they would later testify that they saw a man and a woman casually walking on their street and approach Tiffany's home. The
Wow.
neighbors, they reported that they thought it was odd that this couple was dressed in all black from head to toe, even though it was a really hot day. So that was weird. So they note that down. And they also like they go inside and they check out the crime scene and they see that um the suspect or suspects had fired about 40 rounds of ammo at the victims.
Holy crap.
Yeah, leaving the bullet casings behind. All four victims were riddled with bullet wounds, but the police noted that Rachel's murder was the most violent. So she had been shot about a dozen times, including in her crotch area, and
God.
she had been viciously beaten to death with the gun. Tiffany was also shot in the crotch, up and other places, but in her crotch as well. So these
Yeah.
attacks appeared to be personal. But like I
Hmm.
said, they didn't have any enemies. Like these girls were beloved. Um Now as the
Wow.
investigation progressed, the police did learn that Marcus and Adelbert were drug dealers and that one of them had familial ties to the Mexican mafia. So with nothing else to go off on, they ruled the murders as drug related or a robbery gone wrong and the case they went cold for 2 years. But let me just say that the family members of all the victims worked tirelessly to help the police in any way that they could, especially Rachel's dad, who like printed out flyers. He sent out like mass mailings and he raised over $100,000 as a reward for anyone who had information leading to the killer or killers. And he
Hmm.
also arranged for the composite sketches to be released to the public and had them posted on a dozen billboards in Houston. So, like,
Wow.
they weren't giving up. So, let's check back in with Crazy Christine. So, sadly, and I say this sarcastically, she and Christopher broke up in 2004 when Christopher, being the peach that he is, was arrested and tossed in jail for car theft. After this incident, Christine went to rehab in Kerrville, Texas, and it was in rehab that she met her future hubby, a
Oh,
man by the name
wow.
of Stanley Rott. He was in he was in
How
rehab.
fitting.
I know. He was in rehab to treat his heroin addiction. So they meet, they fall head over heels and become boyfriend and girlfriend. And in March of 2005, they tie the knot and Christine buys them a nice little cushy condo.
Wait, in
Now,
prison?
huh? No, no, no. She
What?
broke up with Christopher.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry.
She
I
she
was like,
meets.
I got sidetracked.
Oh, that's
Okay,
okay.
so I was for some reason I was thinking they had already caught her, but they didn't. I was going ahead of myself because
Yeah,
I was like, how'd they go?
I know.
Okay.
No,
Hmm.
she like is out living
I
her
think it
best
was the part where
life.
you said rot, and I
Oh,
was like, oh, they're rotting in prison.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like she buys a condo for them, and you might be wondering how'd she do
I was
that?
just gonna say, with what money?
So actually she came into some money on behalf of a trust fund that was set up for her after her dad's death. Like it was insurance policy. So she got a pretty penny. So she
Wow.
went ahead and applied some of that to their condo. So, they're married, they get their new place, and they live happily ever after the end. Nope. She wishes. Let's keep going. So, in July of 2005, on the second anniversary of the Clear Lake Massacre, a little news special about the unsolved murders was aired for the world to see, including police sketches of the suspects. Okay.
Wait, I guess that's where I'm confused. Is because this is 2 years after.
Uh-huh.
So nobody suspected her?
Why would they? She's a best friend, right?
Uh, oh my gosh.
That's
Okay.
the whole point of
This
this.
is so crazy to me. That's why I'm like, I'm lost. I'm like, what the hell? So it just went cold?
It
Like
went
for
cold.
I mean, I know you said that, but at the same time I'm like, what the hell? All
They
this time.
they didn't have any enemies, and because of the boyfriend and cousin having, they were, selling drugs, they were drug
Hmm.
dealers, and they had ties to the Mexican mafia, they were able to just assume that
Yeah,
they were targeted because of that,
that is so crazy.
because these girls were so loved. Like
Hmm.
it's crazy. It's like I don't even want to say, like, it's like so and so being like
Yeah.
randomly murdered.
I was gonna say it's like the perfect
Crime.
set. Yeah, exactly for the
Yeah.
perfect crime. Okay. Wow.
So yeah, so
Mind
then
boggling.
in July of 2005, like this new special airs because it's the anniversary. And they wanted to keep the case, even though it had gone cold. They wanted, like, that's a good time to remind people, hi, this is still like
Yeah.
outstanding. We're still looking
Hmm.
for people. So they share the police sketches of the suspects, and dumbass Christine starts freaking out when she sees this on TV, and she starts looking suspicious. She's pacing, she's talking to herself. Her husband's like, are you good? Like, what's wrong? And she apparently looks at him and stupidly asks him, does that sketch look like me? Yeah.
Okay.
He
Wow.
looked at the TV and was like, yeah, it kind of does. And Neen, she could have potentially gotten away with this. She could
Hmm.
have switched to the TV channel, maybe not act weird or sus, and ask him, like, and not ask him that question. Like, why did she ask that question? But I guess she was tired of keeping the secret. I think she just was wanted to get caught at this point.
Hmm.
But after he said, yeah, it kind of looks like you, she starts spilling her guts to her husband. But
Yeah.
her version of the event, which goes a little something like this. She had a really abusive criminal ex-boyfriend who came up with the idea to rob her friends. She had no knowledge whatsoever about the guns or the murders that followed. But when they get to the house, he hands her a gun and he just all of a sudden starts shooting. Like, oh my God. And she apparently was in shock and said that the gun magically went off in her hand. And then she couldn't stop what was happening. And then before you know it, everyone was dead.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's her story. And
Uh,
but she did say one truthful thing. She said that after the shooting and after they left, that it was her idea to go back and make sure everyone was actually dead before
mhm.
she went to start her damn shift at Walgreens. So
Wow.
after she makes this confession to her husband, Stanley, they decide that the best thing to do was to go into hiding. So they go and shack up in a hotel room in San Antonio for several months and spent
Damn.
their days shooting heroin and snorting cocaine to forget all about this grisly confession. Uh-huh. Wait, we're not done. Hold on.
These
So,
two. Wow. For a second, I thought Stanley was going to come through and be so shocked by this that he would go to the police.
on
I was like,
July
oh, crap.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
On July 8th, 2006, a year after this, the police received an anonymous tip in this case from a male caller who stated that he had been in rehab, what? At the same time as Christine, and that she had admitted to him to being involved in the murders. The anonymous tipster gave police details that was only known by the police, so they knew it was legit. And the side note, the detail that he gave was how Rachel had been crawling on the floor before being beaten to death. Guess who the tipster was?
Stanley?
Yes.
It was?
Yeah.
Shoot, he did rat out his wife.
Yep. So he called the
Man.
police.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
so the hunt began. Now, let me preface by saying some stuff. 90% of the articles and also the court transcripts that I read say that Stanley was the tipster.
Mm-hmm.
There's two articles that say an unknown male who is
Hmm.
not Stanley. So I'm going to go with the 90%, including the court transcript. So yes, Stanley did rat his wife out, but they're still in hiding. Okay. So he's like, P.S. Okay, so it's me. I don't know if he told them where they were, but he had to get that off his chest a year later. Okay, so it was eating away at him.
Yeah.
The drugs didn't scramble his brain or his conscience too much.
And
So,
boyfriend knew that by knowing this information, he somehow was gonna get in trouble.
girl, yes. So
Mm.
the police were like, let's go. So July 19th, so like a couple weeks later, the police find Christine in San Antonio and arrest her for the murders. They also arrested Stanley because they found 70 vials of heroin in their hotel room.
Mm. Wow.
Hundreds, not just 100, hundreds of syringes scattered all over the place amongst poop and vomit on the
Oh
floors
my
and on the walls.
God. Ugh.
That's how they were living.
Is that a thing with heroin addicts?
They just want to be walking on needles, I guess so. I have
Yeah,
no idea.
because
It
remember
must
that
be.
movie Train Spotting?
Yes.
That was like a thing. That's why a lot of people didn't like watching that movie. They were disgusted by it because the people were so strung out that they were living in their own feces and
Yeah.
filth.
Yeah, it must be a thing because I see that like whenever SVU like does shit like this, yeah.
Wow.
So now they haul her ass off, and during interrogation, Christine denied any involvement, but quickly changed her tune and said that Christopher, her ex-boyfriend, had acted alone in the murders and that she was
Mhm.
guilty by association. Poor Christine, right?
Liar.
Needless to say, the cops weren't buying what she was selling and charged her and Christopher with the four murders. Now, you might be wondering, where's Christopher?
Yeah.
Right? Like he's no
Hmm.
longer in the picture. So at this point, he's living in South Carolina with a woman he had met online. His
Hmm.
family had learned that Christine had been arrested for the four murders and contacted him to give him a heads up. And also, they were in possession of a bench warrant. They were like, you have been issued a warrant, you need to appear. So
Hmm.
he's like, shit, I'm screwed.
Crap. Mm-hmm.
So rather than face what he had done, he decided to go ahead and commit suicide. So the
Oh
police,
my God,
yeah,
really? I thought he was
yes.
gonna flee to Mexico. Okay.
Yeah, no. He committed suicide and the police would later find his decomposing body in the woods after a drug
Wow.
overdose. So, Christine would now have to face the music on her own.
Wow.
Karma is really that bitch. So, Christine's trial began on September 11th, 2008, and it only lasted for a month. They had several witnesses testify against her, including the neighbors who were the eyewitnesses to the two peeps approaching Tiffany's home that day. In court, they identified Christine as one of the two mysterious individuals. Christine's husband, Stanley, was also called as a witness for the prosecution, and he testified about what she had confessed to him that day in July 2005.
Wow.
Christine was convicted on all four counts of murder, thank the Lord. But
Yes.
since she was a juvenile at the time of the murders, the death penalty was not an option. And thank goodness for that, because I want her to sit and think about the evil
Oh
shit she
yeah.
did to these two people, the sweetest girls ever, who had her freaking back, who were true best friends. So let her
Mhm.
rot and let her
Oh,
rot without her wigs. Okay.
yeah.
So Christine had the actual audacity to try and appeal the court's decision twice, but both appeals were denied and her life sentence was affirmed. She is, however, eligible for parole in July 2046 when she is 60 years old. And I just only hope that the parole is denied and she just dies in jail.
Yeah.
And that is the case of the ultimate frenemy.
Oh
The
my
end.
God. Okay. So I'm I'm over here crocheting while I'm listening to this. I cannot believe. Okay, I remember this case because I remember her face.
Yeah.
And now I understand why I don't remember the specifics and I don't really recall anything about it because I kept seeing her face in the news because it would come up, but I felt like it was so drawn out. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like I feel like I never had enough time or just I don't know, I can never get the full picture of what happened, right? And it probably because the murders had already happened 2 years prior.
Yeah.
So we're really just hearing about the actual trial,
Right.
right? Um, so we don't really know why she killed them. Like,
No.
she never said anything as to like what provoked this?
No. And she did not. And everyone knows the reason. She was jealous.
Just jealous.
These girls, she would never be these girls. Like these girls were beautiful inside and out, and she wasn't. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
think she ever had a chance. You know, she came
Right.
from a really bad familial environment. She was bullied her whole life. She
Yeah.
was dealing with a whole bunch of things that, you know, I mean, kids are like forming and like finding
Mm-hmm.
themselves and stuff, and other kids, I mean, kids are cruel. So like all of that, she didn't have a chance. But like I'm not trying to
No.
excuse what she did because she did not have to do this. Like
No.
the two people in the world who never let her down.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And and it is very much like the movie Clueless when you think of it, because even in that movie, Ty really wasn't accepted by the popular people. They were just accepting of her because of Dion and what was the name of the lead in Clueless? What was her name?
Share?
Alicia Cher, right? And it was only because of those two that she was accepted and considered like part of the cool group,
Yeah.
right? But she still was still her, and
Yes.
when you look at her picture, I'm sorry, she was not Miss Irresistible. Okay.
No.
And this is nothing to do with her disease that she had or anything like that. She just was not cute. I mean, there's a lot of people with no hair, and you're still Faya. Okay.
Uh-huh.
This is not.
Yeah.
She was not at all. And that makeup, she looked like a clown. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. She was not cute, but when you look at her too, there's something sinister about her that
Yeah.
just doesn't sit right with me. And it really, she doesn't seem remorseful. She just seems pure evil. I
Yeah.
mean, to shoot them in the effing vajayjays?
I
What the
mean, that
hell?
alone, like, that
Yeah.
screams jealousy.
The only thing I could think of is at some point Christopher had maybe mentioned something about them, like, oh, they're cute or something, right?
Yeah.
That would have maybe pissed her off, and it would have been like, well, I'm gonna kill them so you don't even have a chance to fantasize about them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because there's some crazy bitches like that.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, hello.
Crazy bitches like that. You're terrible.
Yeah, but there's like some, and that's the thing is like when you are dealing with someone that is psycho and already has issues, doesn't have a good family life growing up, is highly jealous, highly insecure, you know, anybody that is attractive in their viewpoint is a threat because they're constantly comparing
Uh-huh.
themselves to them.
Yep.
And even if they're not cute, just someone that is intelligent, has charisma, or gets other people's attention. Crazy people like Christina wants all the attention on them. And
Mm-hmm.
the crazy part is nobody's giving your ass attention because there ain't
Mm-hmm.
nothing to look at you about like
Mm-hmm.
for or there's nothing that and that's the thing is like she's holding on to this like dream
Yeah.
of being I mean, so it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna basically, if I take them out, then maybe I can be, the person that I don't know. I mean, because by this time they're not even in high school, right?
No. No, at this point, well, at the time of the murder, like, yes, they were all out of high school. They were actually, and I meant to mention this, they were a year older than her. So when
Wow.
she was there as a junior, they were seniors.
Wow.
So
See,
that,
so
yeah, so that's even more like they truly took her under their wing.
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes, I got burned one time by, sometimes you try to be very nice to people, especially when you see that they are struggling, or even someone that's maybe not like, I don't want to say it, but like maybe isn't as like, maybe is a little, doesn't have as much money or whatever. Like you and I have soft spots for
We
people,
do.
and we want to take people under our wing and, show them okay, everything that maybe they haven't experienced yet. You
Right.
know, like even in relationships, my first two relationships, I was like the queen of trying to like be the what do you call that? The person that fixes everything. Like I'm gonna make all these experiences exciting for you, right?
Yes.
And sometimes, though, you can't fix people like that. And it's not that they're broken, but they see life completely different than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And they will never be able to be humble. They'll never be able to be appreciative of the things that you would hope they would be. You
Yeah.
know, in a way, there's a like sense of entitlement. Well, I
Yes.
didn't have this, so, I'm owed this. The society owes this to me, because I'm a victim to all this stuff when I was younger.
Yeah. Totally mean.
You know, I just,
Totally.
I don't know. I hope she rots in hell. Did she take that last name?
No.
Because that would have been fitting. Um, that's crazy though. I am proud of Stanley. Was that his
Yeah.
name? Proud of
Stanley
Stanley.
Rot.
So wait, where did Stanley go?
I don't know. I'm sure he got arrested for the drug
Right.
possession. So, but like
Yeah, that's
he
a
ain't
lot of
getting no
drugs.
life in prison.
Yeah, and I will say, I'm pretty sure, I mean, imagine your wife, you're in love, and all of a sudden she's like, guess what? I
Ooh.
just murdered these people. Well, actually, she didn't say, she blamed everyone else except herself. But um, I'm glad it turned out that way. And I'm glad because, being Christopher committed suicide, it
Yeah.
could have gone a different way if, he wasn't there to defend himself.
He
So,
wasn't.
you know, I'm glad she still was punished and she's getting what she deserves, and I really really hope they do not consider her for parole at any point in her life. I hope she croaks before she even gets that chance.
Yeah, I agree. With here's
So
hoping.
well done, Steph. Well done. And I suggest, for people, if you're not familiar with this, like the name of the case, because I wasn't when you mentioned it, but the minute you look up her name and you see her face in court, you'll know exactly who this bitch is.
Yeah, they refer to this case as the ugly duckling case, and I did not
Mhm.
want to do that right now, even though yes,
Yeah.
she is because she's horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah. I
Yeah.
think she's definitely frenemy number one. We've covered a lot of frenemies though.
We have, and
So
I think that's it's a good example to, it's something I even like try to tell, my own kid that your friends may be your friends, but you have to like, you really have to have a good sense of like
character.
character and like treat people with kindness all the time, but don't be naive to think that just because they're your friends doesn't mean that they wouldn't ever put you in harm.
Yeah, that's a good
Like
lesson.
it is because like, just look at that little girl, that the Slender Man case. She trusted them with all her heart, and look at what happened to her. You
Yeah.
never know the intentions of kids. Like, sorry, I mean, it's not just kids, it's people in general, but even with kids it's different because it comes from a different place, it seems, And
Yeah.
it's just disturbing. It really is. Ugh, but fantastic job, Steph.
Thanks, Neen.
Yeah. Hi, Daisy.
She knows what time we end.
She's so cute. She's like, I need some cuddles now.
I need some cuddles after that horrible case.
I know, but you know what? I don't want to say it had a happy ending, but I'm glad she's in prison.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I can't wait to see what you have in store, not next week, but the week after. And yeah, this is good. I'm actually really glad I was able to learn about this case because like I said, I was familiar with it, but not to
With
this
her
extent.
picture.
Yeah, exactly. I really never got I just wasn't invested.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. It's just weird. I'm pretty sure because that name doesn't ring a bell.
It's
What's her nationality?
I don't know.
At
It's
first
like,
I thought she was like Pacific Islander,
yeah,
you
right?
know?
It appears she looks, yeah.
But I don't know. But anyways, that was great, Steph. Thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you
Yeah.
guys. Thank you, Neen, first and foremost. And thank
Mhm.
you all for listening. I hope you guys have a really good Friday.
Yes.
We're gonna be back next week with some totally 90s podcasting. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
You'll
Yeah.
you'll be surprised to see what we have up our sleeve because you never know. You never
With
know.
us, you never know.
Mhm.
Okay.
We like to keep
Um,
our listeners on their toes.
Before we log off, did you see that Kate Middleton is like doing some light royal responsibility? She's like back to doing some stuff,
Yeah, she's
allegedly.
catching up on
Yeah.
correspondence.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So conveniently, in a situation where no one can see her. I mean, yeah, God only knows what Kate's doing behind closed doors. I mean, as far as I know, she's juggling in a circus, in Kensington Palace somewhere, like on a stage for all her like butlers and stuff. Like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I ain't gonna believe it until I see her talk on live television.
We need to see you, Kate. Like, I need to know that she's alive because I don't trust these royals. I said
No,
it.
I don't. I don't either. And it's just, I really, I'm just, I really don't know what to believe because that was not her and William walking.
What was the point of that then? It makes them look even shadier.
It's shadier too because of the timing, because
Yeah.
everybody's wondering this stuff. So,
Yeah.
okay, let's set this up. No, I don't buy it. I
Nope.
don't buy it. So we'll see. Who knows what will happen next by next Wednesday? Maybe there's like a announcement looming
Yeah,
like
I
this
feel it
summer.
too.
So
Let's tune in. We'll chat about it on Wednesday for sure, guys. No
yeah, hopefully
fear.
it's not a crime talk subject.
Ugh, I really hope not. Oh God, don't even say that. Okay, we need to hug our puppies. And we
Yes.
need to go cuddle with our loved ones after this. So
Agreed.
thank you guys so
Yes.
much for listening. Thank you, Neen. And hey, if
Thank
you
you.
like what you hear, hit that subscribe button. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, guys. Catch you on the flip side.
Peace out, buddy.
That was perfect.